What is good, everybody? Welcome back to NBA to the Galaxy Pod with your hosts, Scotty and Slim. We are back tonight. We got a lot of action to get into in a short amount of time because we are running into the games that are starting at the 7 p.m. slate. But a lot to talk about, Slim. A lot has happened since the last time we hopped on here. We're gonna start at the top. We're gonna start with the Pacers and Knicks game that happened last night. It was an interesting game. It was a good game. But there's a lot that came out of it. Apparently, the Pacers are, investigating or disputing. I don't know what you want to call that. Up to 78 different calls from the games 1 and 2. We're going to get into Jokic winning another MVP, but they're down 0-2 in their series. And then we're going to dig into the two matchups tonight and those series going forward as well. But Slim, what is good, my man? How you been?
What's good, bro? Everything good. As you mentioned, the last time we linked up was this past Saturday, and a lot has transpired since then, man.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man, glad to be here with you to chop it up about hoops. For sure.
Always. And just for the precursor, people tuning in out there, we will be live Monday night as well. We're going to miss out on the Sunday show. Trying to get two in a week, right? And we're going to miss out on the weekend due to Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day out there. We'll be back Monday night live around 6:30ish, around the same time, right? So just to give you the heads up there. But let's get into this Knicks Pacers series so far. Knicks up 2-0, handled business at home in New York. But a lot of controversy has come out around this series. Rick Carlisle had a lot to say after last night's game. What are your thoughts, Slim, so far on the series? What are your takeaways? Just very, very early here to start.
I say like for the most part, it hasn't disappointed in a sense of ways. I mean,
It's been
both.
exciting.
Yeah, it's been exciting for sure. I mean, just firing on all cylinders to a certain extent, but
Yeah.
it's been entertaining for sure. I mean, you hit it on the head with the refs and whatnot. But I mean, it's
That's the
interesting. I
Sixers fan
mean,
and me hating.
yeah, I mean, it's interesting though. I mean, like just watching the game, like the refs does favor the Knicks a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
just like Brunson, he gets
Yeah.
a lot of like calls that you can say are questionable, but
That
you
Miles
know,
Turner screen. You saw that one, right?
that's you gotta let that go, man. Like
Yeah. This
that should have
playoff
been
basketball.
yeah, like those are plays that causes teams to lose, and you should have just let it went on. But I mean, this series have been interesting nonetheless, man, for sure.
Yeah. I think for me, bro, like the thing outside of the referee, I'm not gonna harp on that too much. It is what it is.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
we've seen the reports and shit. But like both of these games have gone well over like 120-ish, right? Like
right.
I was surprised that the Knicks can keep up with the Pacers at that like clip, right? Like because that was a
Yeah,
big thing with the Sixers and Knicks series. The pace was just down. Like it was 90, like high 90s,
yeah,
like early 100s for most of that series. Where this one so far, the Knicks have won 121 to 117 in game one. And then 130 to 121 in game two. So they're getting up
yeah,
into the 120s,
yeah. They
which
getting up
it
there.
surprises me. I guess you got to give them a little bit of credit there as well, right? Like being able to get up to the numbers that the Pacers are used to getting to. They're playing at the Pacers pace, if that
Yeah,
makes sense. No pun intended.
yeah, for sure. I mean, you hit it on the head. You gotta give us some credit. I mean, the Knicks. I mean, Josh Hart, like from a minute standpoint, like the brother
It is
has.
crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous what he's doing right now, but he's out there doing it. OG, all those guys playing heavy minutes. Obviously OG got injured last game, so hopefully
Yeah.
it isn't nothing too major. But you kind of see like the minutes thing start to kick in as far as like heavy minutes paying a toll on those guys' body or
Yeah.
whatnot. So it's interesting to
Especially
see
with
how
the
like
injuries.
how Tom Thibodeau like plays them moving forward. Like, do he, play those guys less opposed to how he's been playing them? But man, I mean, last game, it's curious to see like the adjustments that the Pacers is going to make because I feel like the man coverage against Brunson isn't a good idea. I would
Yeah.
like send a double at him, get the ball out of his hands, and
Yeah.
make. I wouldn't make Dante beat you, but I
No,
like try to
no,
make
that's not the
Hart.
guy you leave open.
Yeah, I'll make Hart like a playmaker or a knockdown shooter
Yeah.
in that area for sure. But I mean, when you do man coverage against Brunson, he having the field day out there. He's proven it, and I give Andrew Nimbar his props. I mean, he's contesting every shot, but Brunson is just making them. So
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like they got to switch it up for sure. I mean, I don't think that. Well, obviously they don't have like a known wing defender on that team, but I mean, Nimbar takes that role of like guarding the other team best player on the perimeter. So
A lot
yeah,
of
they
people
should.
were disappointed that TJ McConnell didn't
Yeah, I
get
seen
minutes
that.
in the
Yeah,
fourth.
yeah, I
So
agree. But it's like you gotta like take it because it's like Nimbard is a better shooter than McConnell.
yeah,
McConnell more like a mid range type of guy.
yeah,
So, but I can understand the frustration for sure because he was probably the best guy guarding Brunson all night. Like he
yeah.
was really physical with him, things like that. So yeah, I can understand the Pacers fans' frustration for sure.
I do agree with you though. You talked about the minutes. I thought that was a great point here because you look at the Knicks, man. 48 minutes for Josh Hart. It's been talked about. This man does not come out of the game. And I thought something else you pointed out there that I liked was making Josh Hart beat you. And I think like when you look at what the Sixers tried to do, mind you, it failed. It did. But they tried. That's what they tried to do. They tried to make Josh Hart beat you. They tried to double team Jalen Brunson, make it as tough on him as possible. And I think you have to go that route again, man. And it just sucks for the Pacers in this case, right? Because this was a game where they led by double digits going into halftime, late into the third quarter, up by double digits. And Jalen Brunson goes out for a little bit, right? He gets banged up. He comes out of the game for a few minutes there, where they had a chance to really create some separation. But it sucks because look at the game that you got from Tyrese Halliburton, man. Like
And
you got that game in game two, and you still couldn't come away with that W in New York. And I think if
Pascal was
I'm a
not
Pacers
good,
fan,
man.
that worries me a little bit, man.
Yeah, it
Because
should.
34 points, 7 3-pointers made out of 11 attempts, 6 rebounds, 9 assists. So,
Yeah, I mean,
and then you go down the bench. Obi Toppin gave you 20 this game.
yeah, that was
McConnell gave
huge.
you 10. I mean,
Pascal Siakam was struggling, bro. Like he just couldn't find a rhythm, man.
and he was struggling down the stretch in that series
Yeah,
against Milwaukee too, right? He started that
yeah,
series really hot, but then really fell off during the tail end stretch. So yeah, he's a guy that is a great point out. Honestly, that's something that you can look at in kind of a positive sense. Is that you need more from Pascal
yeah,
Siakam,
for
right?
sure.
Like you need more. 14
Yeah, I
isn't going to
mean,
cut it.
he missed two clutch free throws in the end of the game too. So
Yeah,
yeah, he
yeah.
got to come on with it, man, for sure.
It's funny because I laid him for 20 points on a parlay last night. And I was watching Siakam's points, but of course he failed. And those
Yeah,
free throws, those were huge. He missed a wide open three in the corner. Somebody
yeah,
got the
true.
rebound. He got fouled, and then goes to the free throw line, missed two wide open free throws as well. But Josh Hart, man, he's gotten on my nerves so much. But 19 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists. He really just fills up the box score, man.
He does,
How are
man.
you? How are you feeling about this series going forward? Do you feel like Pacers still have a chance to get back in it?
I feel like game three would determine all that, honestly.
Yeah,
Because OG he
good
got
point.
injured last game, so if he doesn't play, that's a huge loss. As far as like
That's
a guy
facts.
going,
That could help
Halliburton,
out Siakam a
yeah,
lot.
it could, but yeah, I say the next game would determine it all. Like if the Pacers like show some signs of like getting on the right page, whatnot, I could probably see them win the next two games. But it just depends though, like if OG
Yeah,
is available or not. So yeah,
yeah.
if
We're
not, I can
gonna
see the
see
Knicks
because
going to the conference finals though.
yeah, I feel you because I just feel like the way it highly depends on the health of the Knicks too, right? Like because you
Yeah,
mentioned it, OG Anunoby's banged up. Jalen Brunson came out of this game at a certain point. Um, their health is gonna it's gonna depend highly on that because they have such a short rotation to start with. But the Pacers as well, like you look at the first game, you lose by 4 points in the Garden. Then you're up by 10 going into the second half in the Garden. You end up losing this game as well. It's like that can be demoralizing, right? Like that can be deflated. So I agree with you. Game three will decide a lot. Um, I want the Pacers to win, obviously, but this Knicks team, the
yeah.
officiating is crazy. Like I said, I'm not going to harp on it, but along with that, and the way and as hard as the Knicks play, that's a dangerous, dangerous combination.
It
Honestly,
is, man. It really is.
it's hard to see
It
them
is, man.
losing.
You brought up with the minutes, and it's interesting to see how Tom Thibodeau are going to play this because I was like in the playoffs, like your main guys are going to play more minutes than they did in the
Yeah,
regular season, but you're going to start to see that like the wear and tear on these guys' bodies before they get
yeah,
to the finish line. Like if they were
yeah,
to make it to the conference finals, they get matched up against Boston per se. I feel like the
That's a
matchup would
good point.
easily be in the Celtics' favor just based off like the minute standpoint, like
Yeah. Because
So
you look at the Celtics right now, they're benching their starters for most of the fourth. Like they
yeah,
have these
right,
games put away.
yeah,
That's a great point as well, man. Because you start to view, the Knicks are up 2-0 right now. If they get game 3, then we're starting to look at that Celtics Knicks matchup.
yeah,
And that is going to be a huge point when you got Josh Hart specifically playing like 48 minutes a night,
man,
and his game is based off hustle. So he has
yeah,
to work his ass off like the
yeah,
entire time. It
yeah,
is
man.
interesting, man, to see how that plays out. Maybe that's something they focus on is like maybe like opening up the rotation a little bit more down the stretch
Yeah,
of the
for sure.
series, just to preserve these guys. But let's move on. Let's talk about the 3-time MVP Nikola Jokic. That was in the title of the show.
Nicola.
First of all, let's start there before we get into the series. They're 0-2 against the T-Wolves. Ants got that team rolling. But
And
Jokic, 3-time MVP. How did you feel about it? There's been a lot of complaining. Shaq got really disrespectful in the interview, I feel. But what are
I
your
see your
feelings there?
comment on that. I
He a
see your
dickhead,
comment
man.
on that. I seen that.
You're a Hall of Famer, though. What can you say?
Yeah. My honest thoughts, like I've said this like for quite a while now. Like go back to the 2021 season, like when Steph was carrying the Warriors, putting up outrageous numbers.
Yeah,
I really wanted him to win MVP, but I always said that if it's one guy who would win MVP that I wouldn't be upset about, it's the Joker because he just plays the game the right way. He's
yeah,
like a
yeah,
selfless superstar, just pass first type of guy, high IQ, just does the right thing. But in this certain situation here, I wasn't too upset because, like I said, like he just played the game the right way. But I just felt like SGA deserved it much more so from the standpoint like, okay, if you head into
yeah,
this season, like I'm sure a lot of guys didn't predict the Thunder to be a number one seed by any means. And for him to
yeah,
lead those guys to the mountaintop in the lower Western Conference, it's just a testament to his work ethic and greatness. Obviously, he
yeah.
got, nice young pieces surrounded around him, and rightfully so. But I just felt like it was his award to win, like I mean to lose. But yeah, I wasn't too upset about it, but I felt like SGA definitely deserved to win there, man, for sure.
Yeah, as much as I say like Shaq is a dick for what he said to Jokic like during the live interview of Jokic enjoying his third MVP, I do agree with the sentiment behind it. I agree with you. Like I think SGA should have won it. Like it came down to the Nuggets and the Thunder and the T-Wolves a little bit. They hung in there, but for that one seed. And so the Oklahoma City won the one seed straight out, right? So
Yeah.
at that point, why does it just not automatically go to SGA? Like I don't know. Maybe that's like a bad formula for me to like go by or want it to go by, but I do agree with you. He's the leading scorer on the best team in the West. They had the best record in the West. They had a better record than the Nuggets, obviously. And so to that point, right? Like I just feel like SGA was the guy there to lead that young group of guys. When you look at it, in a sense, he is the veteran of the group, right? Like
Yeah.
the rest of those guys are like first, second year, third year guys, and SGA is the guy that's been in LA with the Clippers and then gone over to this team to kind of become the guy. But
Yeah.
he is the veteran in that locker room. He is the main focal point of that team, and so to that point, it just wasn't like consistent for me, if that makes sense. Like the numbers for SGA are not far off of Jokic, right? You look at SGA, 28 points per game, basically 27.6,
Yeah.
28 points per game, 6.6 rebounds per game, 7 rebounds per game, 6 assists per game, 1 steal per game, 1 block per game. He was shooting 47% from the field, 33% from the 3-point, 76% from the line. I mean, come on. Like, why? I do get it. Like, Jokic, at the end of the day, I think you'll get to the end of every NBA season going forward, and Jokic, you can make an argument that he deserves the MVP. And that's the truth. But I think when it comes down the stretch to the Nuggets and the Thunder fighting it out for the one seed, the Oklahoma City Thunder win that battle. Why is that? I just feel like that's like an easy deciding factor for the award. Not saying that Jokic doesn't deserve it. I just think that SGA deserves it more. And
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
that's the best way to put it. But I do agree with you, nonetheless.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
go ahead.
SGA, like, he led the league in steals too, correct?
Let me check. Let me just check here. Because if that's true, I mean that's another it's another great point, right? Let's see. Total.
Yeah,
I
he
get
averaged two
totals.
steals, I believe. So
I don't know if that number kind of dropped. Because they had him at 1.4 steals per game.
that might be in the playoffs then. I thought he
Ah,
averaged.
you might be right. You might be right. I might have just read the playoff numbers. That's my bad, bro.
No, you good. No, I think he for sure led the league in steals though. When I'm
I'm
saying,
pulling it up right now. Yeah, you're right. This is postseason. That's my bad.
yeah, I think he definitely did. But
He tied with De'Aaron Fox. They both averaged 2 steals per game. You are correct.
okay, so okay, you can add that into that as well. But while we
30
speaking
points
on
per
this,
game as well, by the way. Not 27 or
yeah,
28. 30 points per game, 6 assists,
30 points a
5
game.
rebounds. Yes, sir.
So while we speaking on this topic, it's kind of interesting. Like while we both here discussing the MVP race to be exact, you start to think like, well, when would Luca ever win one, or when would Tatum win one? Like it's just interesting. Like
Yeah.
with an all time great player like Luca, which I'm sure he will be, no doubt.
Yeah.
How old will he be when he win his first MVP? Like same thing with Tatum. Like,
Good question.
and then you got Anthony Edwards. He's making the come up. He's on the come
Yeah.
up. Like, it's interesting to see like how this MVP race is going to be going moving forward because the
Because
league is
this would have
just
been the year for Tatum, right? Like the team
yeah
is runaway best record in the league, but he
right.
just didn't like, I don't know.
It's
When you have
interesting,
that
man.
much talent around you, it's hard for you to win it. Like
Yeah,
Luca is a good question too, though, man. It is interesting moving forward. Like, what is it going to take for them to win too? If Jokic is just hovering up there every season, right? Like the
exactly.
Nuggets are up at the top, and he's hovering up at the top of assists, rebounds. You know, it close enough in points at least. He averages like 25, 26 there. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I think that's a great point.
Yeah, for
Also, a
sure.
great point. Nuggets down 0-2 to the Timberwolves. Oklahoma City Thunder up 1-0 on the Dallas Mavs. So
Exactly.
kind of in different positions right now. So let's start
Yeah.
with that Nuggets T Wolves matchup right now. Down 0-2, lost both games in Denver. Where are you at? Like 1 to 10, where are you at as far as concern for the Nuggets getting booted out of the playoffs?
If I'm a Nuggets fan, my concern would definitely be high, for sure. Because I'd say like an 8 out of 10. I'd be that
Yeah,
concerned. Yeah.
yeah, I feel that.
I mean, just these past 2 games, like I gotta give a ton of credit to the Timberwolves. I mean, especially in game two, like
Facts.
to get that win without Rudy Gobert is huge, man. I mean, Nas
Yeah,
Reed, he held his ground against the Joker, getting physical with him, blocking his shots or whatnot, and also doing that and providing you offense on the offensive end. So that and then I mean those guys' defense is just outstanding. Like they play as a
yeah,
team. I love their defensive coverage. Like they don't allow the Nuggets to run the offense that they run, with the Jamal Murray and Jokic pick and roll and Aaron going in the lob area. They cut all that off, like all the angles. The little things like attention to detail. They have been doing a phenomenal job. And Nikhil Alexander Walker and Jaden McDaniels has had Jamal Murray in the box as of late,
yes,
and it's
sir.
it's hard,
That's what I'm
man.
sitting there looking at is
It's
his numbers from last game, bro.
it's hard to score against those guys. I mean, those guys are excellent defenders, man. But yeah, man, man, he here. Like a lot of people say, he's the
He's
future. He's the
arrived.
now, man. He is the
He's
now.
arrived.
There is no future.
Man,
He's the now.
I just got to ask you this really quick. I know it was not on our topic list, but I saw this right before we hopped on. Ranking the last 4 number 1 picks. While I got you here really quick. Anthony Edwards in 2020, Cade Cunningham 21, Banchero in 22, Wembanyama this past draft, obviously. Going forward, what order would you take those guys in? I'm just curious as we're on the Ant Edwards topic here.
I would definitely do that man one for sure.
One, yeah.
Yeah,
I was curious with Wemby because I think that's the argument, right? Like Wemby or Ant Man. But I'm
yeah.
going Ant Man too, yo. Like
I'm going. I'm going Ant Man number one, bro. Now this when things get tricky, like the two between Paulo and then Wimby. Because I gotta give Paulo a lot of love. I mean, to lead the Magic to the playoffs. I mean,
Yeah, that's facts. I'm trying
it's
not to
hard
be
to.
biased through my Duke fandom with Paulo. Like, I'm trying to be like non-biased and just say Wemby's got it.
Yeah,
But
I think I'm gonna go Paulo, man. I'm gonna
it's
go
closer
Paulo
than
at
what people
two,
think.
and then Wemby at
When
the
you start to
three.
think about like playmaking and like running a team, right? Having the ball in your hands at all times, that's when you start to lean Paulo over a Wemby just because Wemby's going to play that like big man, like that center, that stretch forward type of
Yeah,
position. So the ball isn't always going to be in his hands. He's not always going to be in a playmaking position, but maybe he can develop that. I mean, sky's the limit for that dude, but
yeah, for sure.
I don't know. It's something about Ant-Man's mentality for me that makes him like the clear-cut guy for me going forward out of those
Yeah,
four.
for
But
sure.
just had to ask that because you said it yourself. Like he's arrived, like he is that guy right now. He's showing it against the Nuggets. And that's why for me, man, I think I'm at like a 9 or 10 for the Nuggets. They just lost both in Denver.
At
They're going
home,
back to
at
Minnesota. They
home.
might get swept. Like they scored 80 points in a game where Rudy Gobert did not play.
Yeah, that's huge, man. But
It's
you know what's so
crazy.
crazy though? Like, it's like they lose, right? And I go on Twitter, and a lot of Nuggets fans they're pissed the hell off. They saying that the front office and do what they supposed to do at the trade deadline. All
Yeah.
this stuff is being brought up, but I'm
They're
like,
missing
bro,
Bruce Brown.
yeah, I mean, y'all didn't have the money to pay Bruce, and
Yep.
what was this energy against the Lakers? Like y'all didn't say y'all needed trades then, so like, come on,
Right.
man.
Right.
Like the moment y'all actually lose, is like
Now it's not
y'all,
enough.
yeah, now it's not enough. Like
I know
that's
what you
crazy,
mean,
man.
though. Like Bruce Brown, like that's the difference between like getting to the championship and winning it and like getting swept in the second round. Like,
Yeah.
I hope it's not like
I
that. And
mean,
there's
like,
no excuses to get swept, bro. Like,
yeah, like
come on.
it isn't because the Knicks a pretty good team, man.
Yeah,
But
like
you
come on.
know,
We can't give him 3 MVPs and then
yeah,
him get
that's
swept in the second round.
second round.
Like,
That's tough, bro. And then
that's
mind you, Rudy go
crazy.
bad game too. Like it's crazy. But I sent you that thing that Gilbert Arenas has said. I don't know how true it is, obviously,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he sent you about Jokic being ready to go home, and whoever this anonymous NBA player is, he was talking cash shit about the coach or whatnot. So I mean, a lot of Nugget fans says that Jokic look like he's ready to go home too. So it's
Yeah.
interesting to see, man, for sure. Like,
I mean, Jamal Murray getting strapped up. I mean, Jokic might be a little fed up. Like, I don't know,
yeah,
man. Like,
it's a lot
Jamal
on
Murray
him.
doesn't look super healthy. So,
Nah, and then Caldwell Pope, he's not giving you much like from a spacing standpoint,
yep.
And then
He's not
Ant
even a
Edwards, he's
shooting
just
guard.
having his way with him, man. Like he's just bullying him out the way, post fade away. He's doing it all against him.
You ain't lying, man. And they're forcing Aaron Gordon. He's shooting 5 threes in this last game. That's how you know, right? Like when he's not
Yeah,
banging inside, like when
exactly.
he's
Like
when he's forced out around the perimeter.
I had made a post on Twitter like the game. I gotta get like I said, they defense a lot of credit. Like the live game for Aaron Gordon, they're cutting all of it off, bro.
Yeah,
Right? They
yeah.
can't give him a live because they cutting all of it off. They make him become a 3-point shooter, and then they making Jokic beat them 1-on-1. They
That's
cutting off
yeah.
all the passing angles and all that, man.
The Timberwolves are the one team that can do that, though. Like, let's be clear about that. Like, there's not
Yes.
many other teams that are going to be able to guard Jokic one on one. Like, not many teams have the ammunition to do that. So, while we're sitting here saying about the Nuggets and kind of what's going on, it really is just kind of a bad matchup for the Nuggets when you think about it. Like, who is supposed to guard Ant Edwards?
I
I would
mean,
try Aaron Gordon, maybe, like, just
yeah,
put some size on him.
I was about to say, but if you do that, it's like, I mean,
Foul trouble.
who you go put on Cat, like Michael
Right.
Porter Jr. or
Right, right,
like
right. That's a bad
it's
matchup.
interesting, man. Just
So where do
it's
you see
tough.
this series going?
I think the Wolves will get them at 5, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
They're
mean,
not going to go out and get swept. I
yeah,
figure
I
that.
give them one game. It's interesting
Yeah.
to see though, because you mentioned Gordon, but it's like that was just he's killing him too. He go blow right past him every time. Like
Yeah.
it was interesting, like the last game. Like it was frustration because I seen Gordon tell Jokic what the fuck you doing. Like when Anthony Edwards got past Gordon and he finished at the rim. It's like Jokic didn't want to contest a shot or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Gordon had some words for Jokic. So I was like, wow, that's
That's
interesting.
interesting, bro.
Yeah,
That's
it is. It
interesting.
is, man. I
See
pay
them
attention
go
to
through
all
a little
this.
bit of drama.
Yeah.
That don't happen in Denver,
The
bro.
offseason is gonna be interesting, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, your
Yeah.
Sixers and my Warriors, we gotta get some things done here. But outside
That's
our
why,
team,
like,
man,
the end of the playoffs is coming. We're gonna have plenty of time to dig into that offseason
yeah,
because there's gonna be a lot to get into, bro. Like,
yeah, for
I'm
sure.
starting to get myself worked around Paul George in Philadelphia. So that's where my head's at. I'm
Interesting.
starting to work my mind around that. What can we do after we get Paul George is like where I'm at currently.
I got some money over there, man.
Yeah, that's the big thing right now. I'm with you though. I think Timberwolves do get these guys out of here in 5, 6 max, right? Like 6. I could see like them winning one in Minnesota, then Minnesota winning one, and then going back. Maybe they win game 5, and then Minnesota closes them out game 6. I could see that happening, but I do kind of feel you. I think 5 gets the Nuggets out of here. What about tonight's matchups? Let's get into those. We got the Celtics and Cavs that is about to kick off right now.
Yeah.
This one, I don't feel like we have to talk too much about this series. I guess the thing for you, from me to you, I think the Celtics are going to sweep them, first of all. Like, that's where I'm at. But, well, where are you at? Or do you feel that way? Let me not assume that you feel that way.
I
How do you
mean,
feel
yeah,
about this
yeah,
match?
I do. I do. I
Yeah,
gotta give Donovan Mitchell a lot of credit. It's only so much he can do. Like, he's just
yeah.
not getting enough offense from Garland and Levert and Max Strus, so there's only so much
Garland
the
has
guy can do.
fallen
So
down a few tiers for me, honestly.
yeah, yeah, he has. I'm not gonna lie, he
I
really
don't know
has.
what's up with him.
Yeah, he's been struggling, man. I mean, I know he's a small guard, it's tough, in this league, but he just hasn't been getting it going, man. And
Yeah,
it's
15 points per
interesting.
game in the playoffs, bro.
Yeah.
5
Like
assists. So
he
15,
needs to
5,
be
and
that
3
second
from
guy.
Garland right now. Yeah,
He need to be
that's
that
not good
second guy.
enough.
Like Mobley and Allen, like obviously they can provide you a little offense, but they like your defensive guys. So
Right.
yeah,
And I believe Jared Allen did not play last
he
game,
did.
right?
He didn't play last game. I think he's dealing with some type of injury, if I'm not mistaken. I can't
Yeah.
quite know what it is.
He hasn't played since game 4 against the Magic, actually.
Hmm.
Yeah, so something serious going on with him, I'm assuming. They're gonna need him to like steal one game, I would imagine. Like maybe they play better without him. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this and this isn't like a discredit to the Cavs. I think no matter Cavs, Magic, either one of those teams would have gotten swept by the Celtics. That's
Yeah. I
just where the
mean.
Eastern Conference is right now. That's how good the Celtics are.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
go
like
ahead, go ahead.
the Celtics is so good, bro. Like I don't want like just listen to what I'm about to say. Like the Celtics is so good that Derek White is averaging more points than Jason Tatum. And mind you, Jason Tatum is struggling like crazy right now. And it's just how good the
Yeah,
Celtics is right now. And they're still
yeah.
able to win these games, man. Like, just let that sink in, man. Like,
Derek White, bro. Derek White. Like, come on, Derek White. Last few games. So last game, 25, 5 assists. Game before that, 25, 5 rebounds, 2 assists.
mm,
Game before that, 38 points
mm.
from Derek White, dog. 38 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks in that game as well.
Oh,
And then
man.
the other 3 games, 16 points, 13 points, 20 points.
He gonna want his bag, bro. Like, that's gonna be an interesting topic as well, man.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
gonna want
How
his
are they
bag.
going to afford
Yeah,
keeping all of these guys?
yeah.
Because
He gonna
Derek
want some
White,
money, bro.
he's going to get a bag, bro. Like you said, he's averaging more points than Jason Tatum right now in the postseason. That speaks for itself. So, how does Jamal Murray not get suspended? We didn't even talk about that. What are your thoughts on him throwing the
Yeah.
heating pad on the court, bro? I completely forgot about that.
I did see a lot of other guys' perspectives when they said if they was still playing the Lakers, then no doubt he would be suspended right now. But LeBron would have made that phone call. But I mean, I think Lou Williams made a good point too. I was watching him on the running back show or whatever. But
Yeah,
um, he said like basically just let him play. I mean, and fire him, and then like allow him to play while getting his ass kicked or whatever. Like, so yeah, I can see that perspective too. Like, just find him and just
yeah.
proceed to get his butt kicked, so there won't be any excuses. Like,
Yeah, I do feel that. I like that idea as well. I don't know. It was a heating pad. If somebody like slipped on it and like hurt themselves, then yeah, I think you like
I
suspend them
actually thought it
for
came out the crowd. Honestly, I didn't know that it came from him.
throwing shit. Pat Bev got suspended 4 games next year, I guess, if he
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
back.
Yeah, boy,
Um,
man.
that
He'll
was
come back a
interesting.
sixer, man. Sixer legend, Pat Bev.
Six legend. Hey, what? Hey, I wouldn't be completely against like bringing him back if that was possible, but
Yeah.
that's completely off topic. About the Cavs, just before we move on from this matchup, though, um, Donovan Mitchell's got to leave that team, right? Like, why would he stay there? Is that
It's either that or they just rebuild a team around him.
around him and get rid of Garland
You
or
get,
get
yeah,
rid
get
of
rid of
one of
Garland because Garland, like you can get a nice player for his contract. He make like what
yeah,
35 million or something
yeah.
like that. So
And I
I
think
think
he can be better elsewhere away from Mitchell.
yeah,
I think he needs the
yeah,
ball in his hands.
yeah. Keep Mitchell and Mobley, maybe Allen too, but you could package some pieces for sure to get
Yeah.
him a better player.
I think I would probably I don't know. I don't know if I've seen enough from Mobley yet though, man. Like he has a ton of promise, but I just don't
He
know if I've
does
seen enough.
defensively.
Right? Yeah, the defense is where he's crazy, and that's where the sky's the limit. Like to maybe package Jared Allen and a Darius Garland together, and somehow
You can get some nice pieces, man.
you could get some pieces for that. It's interesting, but the fit is off nonetheless with this team. There's just the small backcourt. You got the two twin towers. It's just not working. I mean, Jared Allen's injured right now, but we both got the Celtics sweep in this series, so I feel like we can move on. Let me ask you this: you think the Celtics cover the spread tonight, 12.5 points? Do you think they win by 13 or more?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think so. I don't see why not. Right? Like
Yeah, they won by 25 in game one.
like unless Darius Garland like watch this podcast episode and vows to prove both of us wrong, like I don't see a reason why
He
not.
said that for real?
No, I'm saying like if he were to watch this podcast episode
Oh,
and
oh. See
like
us trashing him.
yeah, then be like okay, like I got something for y'all, so
No, I feel that for real. So let's finish the show off here. Let everybody get to the live games after this. But Dallas and OKC, I think this is. But other than the Pacers and the Knicks, I think those are the two. These are the two series where it's like, yeah, this is going to be a special series. I know the Nuggets and T-Wolves, great matchup, but it's not trending the right way for the Nuggets. But this one is just getting started. OKC's up 1-0 on this team. How are you feeling about the Mavericks' chances? Can they steal one tonight? What are your thoughts on their chances in the series overall?
the Mavericks at home, right? Or they
No, this one is good. This is game 2. This is going to be an OKC tonight.
okay. I feel like they can. It's just a matter of like, can Luca get it together? Because he really been struggling all
Yeah,
playoffs. I mean, Kyrie's been kind of carrying the load offensively. Like when you look at Luca's shooting splits, which is why it's so careful. Like if you look at Luca's shooting splits, he's shooting terrible. I mean, I think he's shooting like what 39% from the field, 22% from 3-point range. But if you look at his numbers across the board, they're excellent. I think he's averaging like 28,
yeah,
like 7 and 8. But the efficiency is beyond terrible, man. So
yeah.
and I think last game he shot like 6 and 19. So if Luka can get it together, then I can for sure see those guys winning this game, man.
No, I think that's a great point once again, man. I'm just getting his numbers pulled up here to confirm. But 1 for 8 from 3-pointer last game, 28 points per game, nine assists per game, 8 rebounds per game. So, like you said, the numbers, the totals are there, right? It's the percentages that are not friendly to him. 22%, 23% to be fair, 22.7% from 3 in the postseason so far, and 40% from the field in the postseason, which just not Luka numbers, right?
Not by
Like
any
20,
means.
23% from the 3-point line. There's obviously something that's bothering him, right? I believe it's something with his leg right now that's hampering him a little bit, but they're going to need more from him, right? Like, let me see what Kyrie did in this last game. I'm just curious because they did get blown out towards the end.
Has Tim Hardaway Jr. been playing? Do you know?
He did play the last game, but that was his first game back from the injury. He only had 2
Okay,
points. He
that
shot
was
bad.
interesting to see, man. Because it
Yeah.
would be nice for them to get like some offense off the bench from him, you know.
Yeah, they need. Yeah, that is a good point because I mean, last game your best bench player was Josh Green. He gave you 11 points in 25 minutes, 3 for 8 from the 3-point line. But overall, yeah, you're right. That everybody's got to be better. PJ Washington's got to give you more than 10 points, man. He's gonna have to give you more because that's the thing with the OKC team. They're so well rounded. They got guys that can come off the bench, like Isaiah Joe, right?
Yeah.
Can get hot
Kasson
one night
Wallace.
and hit
Yeah.
5 threes in one game. Like they
Yeah.
have different guys. Even Gordon Hayward, they got coming off the bench, only played
Avery
7 minutes.
Wiggins. Yeah, they got some
Eric
nice
Wiggins had a
pieces there.
game. Yeah. And then obviously you got your three dogs in the starting lineup with Holmgren, Jalen Williams, and SGA. Lou Dort hasn't had a game yet. Josh Giddey had a poor game last game. It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. What's your feel in this series as a whole? Do you feel like OKC is going to be able to hold on even with that young core, or do you think that Dallas can kind of steal some momentum here and make their way to the Western
It's
Conference
like
Final?
I think I'm gonna lean more towards Dallas, man. Like I don't want to
The
get too sold
experience,
on the Thunder yet, you know. Yeah, that experience. I feel like that experience will eventually, like, you know, come
yeah,
in and help those guys overall turn this series around. But as you mentioned, like, you know, if Luka's not healthy, then I don't just see them doing anything. Because it's like with him shooting the way he has been shooting, you can only get by so much like this. So,
yeah.
uh, yeah,
Unless they go a little more off ball, Luca, a little more on ball, Kyrie.
yeah, fair
Give
enough.
him some time, like to get the leg right, whatever's going on there. If it's his shoulder, I can't remember if it's his shoulder or his leg. I can't remember what's bothering him right now,
I
but
think it's his leg.
his hamstring, right?
Yeah,
That's what's like
calf or
sticking in my
something
head,
like that.
something like that. So maybe you put the ball in Kyrie's hands a little bit more, take the ball out of Luca's, make him play off the ball. Maybe that'll help him with the shooting and getting the right shots off. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough when he's shooting that bad. There's not a lot that you can really do. I mean, the 23% from the 3-point line is wild. Last two games, so 1 for 8 in that last game, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, 1 for 10 in that last game against the Clippers. From the 3-point line. So not great shooting. Do you think the Mavs come away with game 2 tonight? Can they steal one in OKC tonight? What do you think?
I would think so, but it's gonna be tough, man. You got your work cut
Yeah.
out for you, man. I mean, OKC got a lot of good fans. They loud, so but I think so, yeah, for sure. I
Who
got
do
the
you think
Mavericks
is
tonight.
who do you think's the player of the game tonight? Let's go there. Who do you think steps up?
Man, it's like I'm leaning towards Kyrie, but I
Yeah.
feel like Luca have a good game tonight. Yeah, I'm gonna go
He
Luca.
needs a bounce back though. Luca
Yeah, I'm gonna
needs a
get
bounce
Luca,
back.
man. Yeah, Luca Magic.
Jokic just got the MVP. SGA might be pissed off too, though, tonight. That's
Oh
something I
man,
didn't think about, bro. He might be pissed off.
man, yeah, it's
What's
gonna be
pissed off
tough.
SGA look like?
It's gonna be tough. But pissed off Luca, pissed off SGA. Let's see how it go.
Yeah, that should be a fun game. But let's let everybody get to the Cavs and the Celtics, get that game underway. To everybody out there that's watching right now, be sure to hit the subscribe button, whichever channel you're watching from. Hit the like button. Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments. In the future, we love getting you guys involved in the show here. Thanks to the 2 people that commented here. We're just looking to build, keep growing, and keep growing the community. So definitely give us a follow on Twitter as well, or X. I gotta get used to saying X. But you can find me at Scotty Drown, and then as you can see under Slim's name there, you can find him at RTR30111. Slim, before we get out of here, anything else you would like to throw out there, my man?
Pretty much nothing else. I mean, I could say something like real quick, because I watched the Gil's Arena and they had Mark Jackson on there, so I just had to get your thoughts. And they brought up something like Clay going to Philly, and I wanted to get your thoughts on that. Like, how would you feel about Clay Thompson being alongside Joel Embiid, like a well-known floor spacer, that's been in this league for over 10+ years, man.
That's interesting. I'm glad you brought that up. The best way I would put it, one, I wouldn't give him a max contract. So if that's what he's looking to get, Nah. I'm not even keen on giving Paul George a max contract, but I'll do it. Like if that's what it takes to get Paul George. But what I would say is that Clay would be a great consolation prize to Paul George.
It's gonna hurt me, man. It's gonna
But I
hurt me.
do want Paul George more than Clay. But I would take Clay for sure. That floor spacing is elite.
I mean,
and
like,
I think he would get some crazy shots around Joel Embiid.
That's the point they was making. Like him being alongside Joel and Maxey, like it would be nice. I mean, I wouldn't be too mad because he is going to play for your team. So.
Yeah, at least you can follow along. We'll be together through the journey. You feel me?
Yeah,
the only thing, and it's the same thing for Paul George. Like, how do you move from like the West Coast, like California, to like Philadelphia? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not hating on Philly, but they got great weather out there in the West.
It's the same thing with LeBron. Like he's later in his career. Like I feel like he's going to stay with the Lakers, man. For sure.
Why wouldn't you want to retire in LA or California, like the Golden State? No, I feel you. But yeah, Clay, a good consolation prize. That type of floor spacing is something we have not had. So yeah, I'm with whatever. I'm willing to try whatever to get Joel Embiid and Maxey to the next part of the playoffs, some unseen ground. So no, great question, bro, to finish out the show. Guys, tune in. We'll be back Monday evening. Whatever seems to break out over the weekend, we'll cover it. And we'll be here to discuss it with you guys. But thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tap that subscribe button. Peace, everybody.
We out.